Hey there, gang. Time for another comic book unboxing video. You know how this works by now. I have no idea what is in this box of comics that I've been given a grade for sale on eBay. I got to get them out, take a look at what I've got. I'm inviting you to come along on that journey and have that sense of discovery right alongside me. So if you like comic books, stick around. We're going to have some fun. Hey everybody, welcome to Shanghalla. My name is Duke, and this is an unboxing video. So please like, share, subscribe, comment away, do all the groovy things, feed that algorithm. We're in the drive for 1,000 subscribers. Oh my God, I can almost taste it. We're only 350 away. It took me like almost a year to get to 350, so who knows how long it'll take to get that extra 350 to get over the hump onto monetization. So if you haven't been here before, these books they come from a company called Vintage Comic Books LLC. They do business online as sellmycomicbooks.com and .comcomics.com. And there's also a YouTube channel which has recently started back up again, Sell My Comic Books. And you may have seen my boss, Sean, my co-workers, Sean and Don, on that channel, unboxing collections as they come into us, just the raw collections as they arrive to our warehouse in Freeport, Maine from all over the world. What we're going to look at today are the things that got sorted from those collections into the boxes for what we call raw singles. Those are the books we're going to sell on eBay as a one-book lot, and I'm the fellow who is responsible for grading those books. So if you buy a book from .com Comics, the seller name, on eBay, you don't like the grade, about a 95% chance I'm the guy you're mad at. So let's take a look then and see what we've got. I thank you for coming along for the ride. And here we go. And of course, I offer all kinds of commentary along the way, including, I never really got the Sandman, if you want to know the truth. I mean, I don't want to discourage you from buying the Sandman. Everybody loves the Sandman, but it was a little too cerebral, I guess, for my tastes. You know, in a comic book, I'm looking for action, adventure, daring do, and it seemed like Sandman was a lot of folks standing around talking. You know, it's like, why does this even need to be a comic book? It would be just as good as a fantasy novel. So yeah, I sort of missed the boat on Sandman. Through back issues, I've collected all but I think a couple issues of the run, including the first issue. I don't have the first issue except as a reprint. And so I can't even really tell you I can remember what's special about number 13. Or number 2, other than that they are number 13 and number 2. And here is number 3. So let me know in the comments below, were you a big fan of Sandman? Why did you like Sandman, if so? Like I said, for me, it wasn't the kind of thing that I buy comic books for. Now this certainly is. I mean, the unmovable object versus the irresistible force, Juggernaut against Mjolnir. This is actually Thor number 411's, the first appearance of the New Warriors, who were a thing for a hot second. This is the first full appearance of the New Warriors. Not many of these characters are even a thing anywhere in the Marvel Universe anymore. Night Thrasher and Speedball, can't remember the last time they appeared anywhere. Same with Namorita. Firestar was in the Avengers for a while. I don't know where she's been lately. I think there's a whole different Nova. This isn't the guy currently running around as Nova, I don't think. And is that Vance? I want to say Armstrong, but that's not right. The guy from the Guardians. Gosh, anyway. This is neat. Ms. Marvel number 16, but it is a UK variant, 12 pence. And here's another one. I get a feeling we're going to be looking at a stack of UK variants here. Here's number 1. Nice. British spelling on color. All color comics. Worth shouting out on the cover, because I guess I understand that a lot of the comic books over there, at least at that time, were in black and white. To me, these British variants are pretty neat, just because knowing the journey that they've taken, I'm pretty sure that they were printed here in the States, shipped across the pond, and so they had to, then this would have been back in the newsstand era, been purchased, survived, whatever collection they ended up in, and then found their way back here. Now, one of our co-owners, Ashley, you'll see him sometimes on the Sell My Comic Books channel. He is an expat, a British expat living in Canada. And we haven't seen Ashley since several months before the start of the COVID crisis. Been a long time since we've seen Ashley in person, unfortunately. But anyway, he might be able to tell you. Maybe we'll get him sometime on his channel, the Sell My Comic Books channel, to maybe discuss British comic books a little more in depth than I could. I just think they're neat because, again, here's another one, Warlock number 13. Just because knowing the route that they took, and that to have them survive in fairly high grade or even mid grade is pretty neat. It's kind of like the same theory with a Newsstand. A Newsstand version, Black Goliath number 1, very nice. Black Panther number 1, very nice. But it's kind of like the Newsstands in that it's not so much that it's a limited part of the run and they're supposedly more rare, but it is the fact that the type of audience that bought those books, they didn't go right into bags and boards. Here's Eternals number 1. Now, I think the movie will have pretty much tanked any interest in the Eternals comic books. But I understand the movie was more based on the Neil Gaiman version than the Jack Kirby version anyway. But I expect all of these Eternal books to, if you got them, unload them now. But please do buy this one first. But the Newsstands, just that they were purchased by a different type of buyer, and so to have them survive in high grade at all is pretty neat, and makes what was already rare all the rarer still. And so it's kind of the same theory with the British books. And I've told you before that these were exact reprints, but we had somebody in the comments. God, I wish I need to take notes. I need to do a better job. You know what I should do? I should do like just a video every now and again, just giving credit to various folks who've left comments and have helped to enlighten us all. And that way, I wouldn't have to feel so bad about not remembering, because I can't remember who said it. But they did note that these British books did occasionally have some differences, particularly in the lettering, where spelling was different, or maybe an idiom of some kind was different here in the States as opposed to over in Britain. That there were some changes in lettering, but otherwise they were virtually the same. And as I said, I'm pretty sure, it always cracks me up because I always get excited to see Stiltman, and then I'm like, oh no, sorry, that's not Stiltman. So yeah, I think this is going to be about the last gasp for the Eternals. I'll have to track them. Now, they will probably plateau. They'll probably stay fairly high. They'll come off of the highs that they've had some. But most things like this, they'll shoot up for an MCU rumor, and then they'll cool off, and they may come down a little off the high, but they'll still be much higher than where they were. I don't think these will ever be dollar books again, as they were right up until the Eternals movie was announced. And then they disappeared out of dollar bins fast. So here's the first full Taskmaster. He has a cameo in the issue before this. And just like the Eternals movie killed the Eternals comic sales, I think the Black Widow movie kind of did the same with Taskmaster. The last few MCU movies just haven't been that good. So here is the first appearance of Bullseye, who had a giant bullseye on his forehead to start out with. Luckily, they reduced that a little bit so he didn't look quite so ridiculous. But yeah, British version of that. That's cool. Now, this one is not a Brit version. This is a regular book. First appearance of Mobius E. Mobius. And that also has MCU ties to thank for it taking off. Back to the Brit books. Here's Moon Knight number 1. And now we're back in the U.S. for the first part of the Kraven's Last Hunt storyline. Beautiful Mike Zeck cover. New X-Men 133. Now, I wasn't reading that. I don't know. I don't really watch the what is it? Key Collector. Yeah. A lot of the things that are listed on Key Collector are not exactly keys to me. And I get a little annoyed with all these people, all these junior executives chasing the ups and downs of the comic book market. You know, you buy it because you love it, and the price will go up if enough people are wanting it. You don't need to hype things as being the next hot thing to invest in. But anyway, I can't really tell you why that's worth having. I've never read that one. I don't know what kind of first appearance it might be. This is the newsstand version of the wedding issue with the allies and foes, and of course the direct sales version had the friends and family, all civilians in the background. Now, here's something else. I really can't tell you personally why it is in this box. I mean, I'm sure it's Venom, but I don't know if it's something special in the Venom oeuvre. Because during the 90s, I checked out completely on the whole grim and gritty scene. I had no interest in any of that kind of stuff. And so I've just never been a fan of Venom. I know there are people who just love Venom and think he's the greatest thing, especially people who started reading comics in the 90s. They have a big nostalgia factor. But Venom was a big, hard swing of the pendulum away from the type of comic books I grew up on. And so I had no interest. So I couldn't tell you right off the top of my head why those are particularly interesting. And it may just be because of the Venom that we think they'll bring at least $10 each. X-Men 201, Storm versus Cyclops, first appearance of Baby Cable. X-Force number 2, second appearance of Deadpool. Spider-Man 2099, really the only book of the 2099 line that's, if you're thinking about investing. Well, it's not really an investment, but it is a good, solid, steady seller, $15-20 every time, depending on the grade. Some early X-Men, number 52, Twilight of the Mutants. Number 212. 213, a nice Alan Davis Sabretooth versus Wolverine cover. This one looks like a price variant. So these were tested in various markets. This little splody box here, probably most of the run said still 25 cents. But in a few test markets, they put on that 30 cents to see how well it would sell. Now, I think that there are resources online where you can find out what particular test markets, what cities they were tested in. His head is not anywhere near where it should be. Just noticed that. Kazar's head looks like it's growing out of the middle of his chest, kind of like an alien popping out. That ain't right. But anyway. And it was mostly Marvel that did this rather than DC. So here's a newsstand version of X Factor number 5. That is the first cameo appearance of Apocalypse. What If number 1. Always a good book. Power Man Iron Fist number 50. So this is where the two kindly joined together, although it would be several issues before it would change officially in the indicia. That's the publishing information usually found on the first page. You can see here that it still says just Power Man. I think it's not until like 65, 64 that the title officially changes. But this is where they team up. And now I guess there's no more Danny Rand. A recent miniseries, he had the power he sort of voluntarily gave it up, and now they've got a new Iron Fist coming. I thought they were going to give the Iron Fist power to Colleen Wing, but I guess that's not how they're going to go. Although it is, because, you can't be a white guy and have super karate powers. Although I think it's a black guy. So maybe that's racist too. This is an early appearance of the X-Men outside of the X-Men title. So that's what makes that one pretty hot. You've got Wolverine in this short-lived costume. He actually got that from one of the Imperial Guard members. Daredevil number 25, first appearance of Leapfrog, and also the first appearance of the Mike Murdock persona. Guess who? Well, it's Dodo and the Frog. What number is this? Is that 81, 91? 81. And I think Dodo and the Frog, I'll have to look it up, but I think this title was something else initially. Maybe it was Animal Antics. I don't think that there were 90 previous issues of Dodo and the Frog. And I'm not 100% sure if those are licensed Columbia characters or if these were original to DC. I think that they are Columbia characters, but I don't remember ever seeing a Dodo and the Frog cartoon. But anyway, that's what that is. Here's Fantastic Four number 60. Nice book. 61 with Sandman. Incredible Hulk 104. Shortly after the title changeover from Tales to Astonish with Rhino. Here's something nice. Here's something nice indeed. Swamp Thing number 2 from the original run. That's a nice Bernie Wrightston cover. Look at that. That's cool. Very, very nice shape. Of course, the Mylar, this is one of these top loaders, which I don't really love these because I find, sometimes, and maybe this is telling you too much, but sometimes we will reuse a bag and a board if it's, good shape, not yellowed or anything, everything looks fine. We're not above reusing it to ship books out in because, when you buy a book, you shouldn't be expecting to get a brand new bag and board. You buy your own damn supplies. This is really just shipping material, frankly. And so we're not above using a bag and a board, reusing it. I would say we probably throw away about 75% of the bags and boards that collections come in. So it's not a lot, but if they're usable. But with these top loaders, I throw away just about every one. We've got kind of no use for them in the office. And I suppose I could keep them for myself. There wouldn't be any objection. This one looks pretty good, but usually they're all scratched up. They're not necessarily yellowed the way bags do, but they're just, once you get the book out of it and you look at it, it's like, holy crap. This one looks pretty nice, though. Anyway, here's another Bernie Wrightston cover. There's number 3 of Swamp Thing. Here's number 4. You're really going to wonder why Swamp Thing didn't sell better than it did. And I love this original logo, too. Here's number 5. Here's number 6. Swamp Thing versus a robot that kind of reminds me of the plague bird doctor thing. I don't know why. But tell me, what is your theory on these top loaders, these kind of hard Mylar? Do you like them? Do you not like them? Do you use them just for display to mount it on a wall? You can't really see where I'm holding it and simulating holding it on a wall, but tacking it to a wall. Or do you actually store your books in these? I don't know. This is like one of the all-time classic covers, number 9, and that's a nice looking book. Again, at least inside the Mylar, that dresses it up considerable. I can't tell you how many times that I've looked at a book and been like, oh, wow, that's great. And then you take it out and it's like, that's kind of ugly, actually. The line of DC superstars during that era. And I think the last couple of issues, they did kind of like an Archie thing where Archie tried to turn the Shadow into a superhero, or Dell tried to turn Dracula and Frankenstein and Wolfman into superheroes. That's probably a closer analogy. DC kind of did a halfway effort of turning Swamp Thing into a superhero. Now, these Dell books, they haven't been selling well for us, even though the market completely took off in the wake of COVID. Still, these Dell books never really, they still don't do all that well. This might struggle to get to $10, although it is a Vincent Price cover, and The Masque of Red Death is a classic Vincent Price movie. It is indeed a movie classic, not just something that they put on there just to put on there. So that might do a little better. Here's an early House of Secrets. Secret of the Captive Creature. Oh, I see. It's just I thought the book was all stiff, and I'm like, what the heck? And then I realized it's just a random backing board in there. A Mark Merlin mystery. Now, I'm going to have to do a video on Mark Merlin, because, again, it's sort of interesting that DC really tried to make a continuing character out of him, and he just never really took off. But, in a different world, you might have got Mark Merlin as a founding member of the Justice League if they had thought to put him in a costume or something. Land of the Lost. Now, and I think this is the same issue that we saw this last time, although it is in much, much, much better condition. A little rust on this bottom staple. But this is EC Comics. See, an educational comic. And I think this is old enough that Bill Gaines is still alive. This is not Bill Gaines, Max Gaines. Max Gaines is still alive. The kinds of things that Bill Gaines did would have made Max Gaines turn in his coffin, and probably he did. But, oh God, now I can't remember. And I've got to do a special video crediting the people who have answered questions and come up with stuff in the comments. Somebody, and I don't remember who, give yourself credit in the comments below if it was you, said that these Land of the Lost comics were based on, oh God, now I can't remember. If it was based on some children's books or a radio show. It might have been oh, well, here you go. Duh. If I just read the cover, I would know. Oh, look at this. Olive Bailey. Wasn't that George Bailey's mother? I didn't know to make ends meet. She, in addition to boarding out rooms, that she also drew comic books. Who knew? Did you know that? I had no idea. But if I had read this, bringing you many of your old friends from the Mutual was a radio network, coast-to-coast radio program, Land of the Lost. So yeah, if I had thought to actually read the thing in my hands, I could have told you that, yeah, it's based on a radio show. So there you go. Boom. Here's a nice cover of X-Men, number 51. It's a little Steranko action for you. Read Sonja. She doesn't sell real well. I always pronounced it read Sonja as a kid. First time I heard somebody say Sonya, I was like, what? And actually, I think the first time I heard it was Sonia Henning, and it took a while to click. But it's some nice Frank Brunner art. I believe that's Frank Brunner. But these don't do great. And by not great, I'm thinking, that's probably going to be a $20 book. But it really should be like a $50 book. So This Man, This Frog, which is a... That's a play, if you don't know, on the classic Fantastic Four issue, one of the all-time classics, number 51, This Man, This Monster. I assume that was done purposely for that very reason. But beyond that, I can't tell you what's special about that. This is Something is Killing the Children. Now that, I missed the boat on this, but apparently this is a big, big, big thing. I might actually have bought the first couple of issues and never read them. Or maybe I might not have got the first one. Maybe I got like the third or fourth. I don't know. I'll have to look and see what I've got. It's kind of like Invincible. I've got Invincible number 1 kicking around here that I bought at the time. And I need to send that to CGC and dump it quick because it's like a $1,500 book now. And these are pretty big. These Something is Killing the Children. So if you've actually read these, let me know. Let me know in the comments below what you like about this. Let me know what it's all about. Is something indeed killing the children, or do we just suspect something is killing the children? What could it possibly be that is killing the children? Oh, those poor, poor children. So let me know if it's good, if it's great. Let me know if you think that it should be a comic book. So many comic books these days. And again, this goes back to the Vertigo stuff. To me, doesn't really have much business being a comic book. A lot of it, would be fantasy novels or TV shows. I mean, a lot of modern comic books are basically failed Netflix pitches. But anyway, here's a bunch of Something is Killing the Children, and I guess those go gangbusters now. Gangbusters. Wicked good there, Bobby. Champions number 1. I didn't come in until about the 9th issue or so as a kid, but I did love the Champions. Did love the Champions. And if you don't know, I've told the story before, but this was initially pitched to Marvel by writer Tony Isabella as an Angel Iceman buddy book because Cyclops and Jean Grey were still appearing in X-Men. At this time, the Beast, I don't know if he'd quite gone over to the Avengers yet, but he was at least appearing in Amazing Adventures, having been turned into his furry form. So Isabella pitched using the other 2 original X-Men, Iceman and Angel, kind of letting readers know what they were up to now. But the editors were like, no, it needs to be a full team book. And in order to be a team book, you need to have a super strong guy, you need to have a female, and you need to have at least one character who has his own title. And so that's how that happened. That's how that completely random selection of characters became the Champions. Daredevil number 27. X-Men number 23. X-Men number 184. Boy, that was a pendulum swing right there, wasn't it? And there's the newsstand version. Marvel Superheroes King Size Special number 1. Nice reprint series. Reprinting the famous Torch and Namor battle from Marvel Mystery Comics. Here's an early Daredevil number 5, still in the yellow togs. Number 6, this is some Wally Wood action, I believe, on this one. Number 8, first Stiltman. Love, love, love Stiltman. You gotta love Stiltman. Number 9, Pop Art Productions. Number 10, still the Pop Art. Number 11, who is the organizer? Well, it's Barack Obama. He's a community organizer. Number 12, number 13 with the famous Stairway to Nowhere. Number 14, number 15. We've got a nice little Daredevil run going here, huh? 16 with what looks like a clip art cover. 17 with some more Spider-Man. 18. Number 7 with old Subby. Sub. Number 19. That's got a very Blue Beetle Ditko kind of look to it, doesn't it? Number 20 with the Owl. I wonder if this is going to be Daredevil the rest of the way. It has that kind of look to it as I pull these books out and I see the edges. Number 21. 22. Now, I haven't actually read a lot of these issues myself. I mean, I deal in them all the time, but these all predate me. I didn't really come along until a little before the Frank Miller era, but I really wasn't, there's another 25. I wasn't really reading another Stiltman. Nice. More Stiltman. Nice. I wasn't really reading Daredevil except for occasionally, like, you know, if I had more allowance than new books available that week, I would buy a Daredevil just to spend all my money. That's how it worked. But Daredevil was kind of a B-list, C-list character. He was right on the verge of cancellation when Frank Miller came along. And only got that job because nobody else wanted it, because the title was, everybody knew, Conventional Wisdom, soon to be canceled. Here's some Dr. Doom. So if you were a big reader of Daredevil, did you love it during this period? Or was it just kind of an also-ran kind of thing for you? When did you start reading Daredevil? Which period, if you've read them all, or most of them, the Jester's cool. Which period, more Stiltman, hooray. Which period of Daredevil do you think is best? Outside of, you know, the initial Frank Miller run, I think we can all agree that that's a classic run. But where do these books stand? Where does any other period in the publishing history of Daredevil stand? The Stuntmaster spins out. Boom, boom. The Torpedo, 59. Number 60. 61, you got a little bit of everybody here. Cobra, Mr. Hyde, the Jester. Oh, Mr. Hyde again. Boom, boom. Or maybe that's Mr. Jekyll. I don't know. Nighthawk. So that is the Nighthawk from the Squadron Sinister universe, who would go on to lead the Defenders. Number 63. Stuntmaster is back. 64. The Man Called Brimstone. Number 65. La Brea Tar Pits. Thinking of that Bugs Bunny cartoon. La Brea Tar Pits. More Stiltman. How long has it been since we've seen Stiltman in the comic books? Why can't we get Stiltman back? Stiltman's the most awesome thing ever. 71. And then we got a couple more here. 2 more books, and this will close out this box. We've got New Mutants 26, which is what, the first Warlock Legion. And then a Daredevil number 7. We've seen that one already. Oh, yeah, I saw as I was taking it out, I saw there was a note on the back. So the owner of the company has already been in and out of these bags and has determined that this one is in fact missing a page. Looks like is it missing the back cover? Or it's just really worn? I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, there you go. That's that box. Those will all be coming up on eBay soon. The next week or so from when I film this, which who knows, you know, they might be up and gone already by the time I edit and upload this. But yeah, those will all be on eBay.com. Comics.com is what you want to check out. Again, if you're looking to sell books, go to sellmycomicbooks.com. But otherwise, we will see you next time for our brand new box of classic old comics. And until then, goodbye, good luck, and please be good to each other.